Good morning, everyone. We're so pleased to see you here, those of you with great stamina who've been with us for several days, as we've had a week, practically an entire week of convenings, conversations, and time to reflect, share best practices, and get to know each other better. Monday was the My Future NC centennial, or not centennial, but first year anniversary celebration. Hopefully it won't take us 100 years to get there. Our mental and behavioral health convening was here on Tuesday. The Student Success Innovation Lab conference was yesterday. And today we are here for the first NC Adult Promise convening. So I want to welcome everyone here. We have a lot of very great participation from all of our campuses, not only from the UNC system, but also from the North Carolina Community College system. I'd like to recognize some presidents from the community college system who are here. If any of those presidents are now in the audience, would you please stand? There we go. All right, thank you so much for being here. I would also like to thank the Lumina Foundation. We are here because of a large grant that we have received from the Lumina Foundation in partnership with the community college system. This grant has enabled us to kick off several large initiatives, mainly the Finish First initiative with Wake Tech University, training for hundreds and hundreds of faculty, staff, and administrators in prior learning, and also the development of a website, which will go live this summer, geared uniquely towards adult learners with a chatbot, personalized coaching, and lots of resources for this increasingly important population here in our state. Today we have a nice little outline. You have this agenda with you. We'll work through it as we go. It's going to be very fluid. We want a lot of conversation to happen today, and so we're hoping we have built in plenty of time for interaction with the panelists, interaction with the speakers, both during and after, over lunch, and then after lunch is over. We're going to go ahead and get started with a presentation from our My Future NC team. We are very, very fortunate to have with us today the president and CEO of My Future NC, Cecilia Holden. She's going to be joined by Rebecca Tippett, who is with the Carolina Demographics Group here. She has some incredible information that some of you may already seen, but some new things to share with us. And also with Jamelia Davis, who's the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the Belk Center. So without further ado, Cecilia and team.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cecilia Holden, CEO and President of My Future NC. How about that video? Yeah, Ed NC did a great job on that. We actually had a big event on Monday, and the goal of the video was to try to just wrap our arms around a 3 to 4 minute video to demonstrate the work of My Future NC. So thank you to Ed NC for doing that for us. And the students that were in there were out of Edenton-Chowan Public Schools, did a fantastic job for us as well. So as outlined in the video, My Future NC is an organization that is focused around educational attainment. And the work was originated by MC Belk Pylon, who is the president and board chair of the John M. Belk Endowment, as well as Margaret Spellings when she was here as the UNC Systems president. Recognizing that business demands are outpacing the talent supply that's necessary to meet the workforce needs, both of these ladies were focused around trying to increase educational attainment for our state. The nonprofit has been created in November of last year after about 2 years of work from a commission that went around the state doing a tour, listening session, deep dive on data, and came together with a call to action report. The nonprofit was created in November, and then I was brought on board in December in order to carry out the vision and the goal. The board that was constructed for the nonprofit includes leaders from business, industry, nonprofits, philanthropy, and then also all of our educational systems, which also includes President Bill Roper from the UNC system and Peter Hans from the community college system. In North Carolina, there are estimations that about 50% of the jobs as we know them today will either go away or be transformed by the year 2050. So with a rapidly changing economy, our education systems are running into a problem, providing the talent that's necessary to keep up with the business demands. In order to get the workforce talent that's needed, more people are going to have to attain a high-quality credential or a post-secondary degree in order to meet the workforce needs that we have. So to address this, you heard in the video, North Carolina, a year ago, established a goal. It's a bold goal to have 2 million North Carolinians between the age of 25 and 44 to hold a post-secondary degree or high-quality credential by the year 2030. So what this means is that we're going to have to double where we're currently trending over the next 10 years in order to meet where we need to be by 2030. Based on where we currently are, you heard the numbers. We have about 1.6 based on the current population that meets the definition of the goal, natural trending. So that positions us needing about 400,000 additional workers that would hold a high-quality credential or post-secondary degree by 2030 in order to meet the needs of our businesses. While we need to increase attainment, only 30% of the students who are entering into the 9th grade are going to graduate, go on to some sort of post-secondary education, and then end up coming out of the pipeline with either a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree 6 years after high school graduation. More than 25% of the students who attend 4-year colleges are not going to complete their degree, and 2/3 of those who attend a 2-year college will not complete their degree. As leaders, you know how important education is after high school. This is required in order to make sure that the employees are going to succeed in the workforce, and equally as important is to make sure that the employers have the talent that they need to fill the jobs that they have. The benefits of attainment go far beyond just a higher earning for these individuals. In addition to healthier citizens and more engaged citizens, this is an enormous economic driver for our state. So in order to make sure that we keep the businesses and bring in new businesses with good quality jobs, it's important that we be able to provide the talent that's necessary to fill those jobs. While the benefits are outstanding, unfortunately, the North Carolina Department of Commerce employer needs survey has indicated that about 50% of the businesses are not able to fill jobs with people that have the skills that are necessary. The problems that they cite include lack of employability skills, lack of technical skills, and just lack of overall education. This is especially pronounced in the fields of IT, health, and finance. While the statistics do show that most students who drop out never return back to finish school, the good news is that 39% of North Carolinians have indicated that they've not yet achieved the educational attainment levels that they had hoped. So that's good news that there are individuals out there that would like to come back. We have over 1 million adult North Carolinians who have taken some college classes, but they're no longer pursuing their degrees. To meet the 2 million goal by 2030, it's going to be critical that we identify those individuals and we focus on the group of adult learners and bring them back in, those that want to further their education. First, we know that there's no single reason why the people left in the first place, why they dropped out. There's a 1,000 different reasons, but the reasons that are cited in terms of the larger buckets include conflicts between school and work, financial pressures, life events like pregnancy, and fair or poor academic or career counseling from the school that they were attending. So that's something that's within our scope of control. Thankfully, according to a survey by Strata Gallup, only 19% of the 1 million I just mentioned say that they're not interested in coming back. Almost half of those are making less than $35,000 a year, which makes it even more exciting for them to be able to come back to increase their education in order to increase their status within the workforce. Among those that are surveyed, young people, persons of color, and those working in food preparation, which was part of the survey results, were particularly likely to want to come back and complete their degree. So the question we have is, what is it going to take to attract them back into the systems? The survey highlights 3 specific things: affordability, helping people figure out how they can balance the cost of school and work; convenience, finding courses and training that fit your schedule, and then usefulness. People want to know that the return on investment is there. If they come back and they invest both personally and financially into getting a higher level of education, they want to make sure that there's a job that's attached to that at the end of their education. In addition, we have a significant number of military veterans that live in North Carolina who are still of working age. This is a target population with significant experience, and with a college degree or a high-quality credential, their military experience could be fully leveraged in our workforce. As part of the focus on the adult learner population, Lumina Foundation sponsored the Adult Promise Grant for North Carolina. I'm excited to share that Scott Jenkins, who is the strategy director for Lumina, and you'll hear from later on, has also been involved in the work and the goal setting and the strategic direction of My Future NC. The goal around Adult Promise is fully aligned with our work, and to achieve our goal, we need a heightened focus on the adult learner population. Your work is going to make a significant difference. Establishing the goal has been the first step, but the process is going to be dependent on both state and local leadership. My Future NC is going to be state-led. We cannot do this work without you. It must be locally driven. As you know, our colleges are an economic engine for our local communities. Adults are a critical component to the answer to our talent challenges, and our post-secondary systems are going to have to adjust to accommodate the needs of the adult learners in order to meet the workforce talent demands. We need every one of you to help make this possible. We don't have time to waste. 2030 will be here before we know it. While we did not have a centennial on Monday, we did have an annual, thankfully. I would have missed my goal. I can tell you that when I look back, Y2K seems like yesterday. And so when we blink, it's going to be 2030. So we do have a lot of work in front of us. My Future NC is excited to partner with you on the work. We're here to assist on the path forward. We appreciate everything that's going on in the campuses. We know that there's a lot of good work already there, a lot of good best practices that we want to lift up. So next, I've got two individuals who are aligned with the work of My Future that you'll be able to hear from. They were mentioned earlier. We've got, both of these are also funded by one of my funders with the John M. Belk Endowment. First, you're going to hear from Becky Tippett, who's with Carolina Demography, and we are providing statewide and local dashboards in order to try to enable the local communities to see the data around what will help you all to know what to focus on in your specific areas of the state. And following Becky, you'll hear from Jamelia Davis from the Belk Center about their work around adult learning. So with that, thank you for what you're doing and what you're about to do, and I'll turn it over to Becky.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. So, Dr. Jenny Korn and I have been working very closely over the past few months to really meet one of the core functions of My Future NC, which is measuring our progress. So My Future NC has set an ambitious goal of $2 million by 2030, and we are working to ensure that we have annually updated metrics that help us understand how we are moving the state towards that goal and where there are opportunities to really improve. And to do that, we've worked on two different items. And Jenny is passing those out to you right now. And I have nice little props here. So the first is a state-level attainment dashboard. And that is tracking not just the overall progress towards 2 million, but also 18 unique educational progress indicators that measure how North Carolina is performing at a state level and, where available, how we are performing compared to peer states. So these are southern states that we think of as being comparable to North Carolina that may be outperforming us on certain indicators, which offers opportunities to learn from them. The second are specific county attainment profiles, which are going to take those state-level pieces. So we're passing out one that's a North Carolina-specific profile, but this is the type of information that will be available for all 100 counties by June. And what this does is it takes those 18 indicators on the dashboard, plus more, to really start the conversation in communities. And I really want to emphasize that this is a conversation. and our timeline for how this is going. So the first thing that we did, we have spent a few months collecting feedback already from both the board of directors for My Future NC, as well as external advisory board members and key representatives of specific communities. We released the online interactive dashboard on Monday, and we also released 6 specific county profiles. We've been working directly with the Land of Sky Collaborative out in the west, so that's Buncombe, Madison, Henderson, and Transylvania counties. We've also worked directly with Mecklenburg County, as well as with New Hanover County in the east. Those 6 county profiles are currently available. And we are already in version like 1.5 of what those look like. So I want to really emphasize again, this is a conversation starter, and we are looking and actively encouraging you to reach out to us to talk about what's resonating, what's not, and how can we either evolve these to better capture the indicators that our leaders need to know to move the state forward, or to add ancillary and supporting information in other places to bolster the questions that are coming up from these profiles. So we are actively in that feedback gathering process right now, and we will continue to update and revise these. I will say we printed these are fresh off the presses on Monday, and the version online is already a little bit different based on feedback that we have received since Monday. So we are talking about an update often, and we will essentially have a weblog of versioning control so that you can see what we're doing and why. So we're also going to be operating within full transparency of what we're doing. By June, we will release all 100 county profiles, and I know that not everybody is as big as a data nerd as I am. Some of you may be, but the thing that I'm most excited about is that we will also be at that time releasing all of the data that feeds into those profiles for use at the local level. It may not look like it, but there are over 24 unique data sources in this front one-pager alone. So that will be also available for all counties. And then by September, we have a report, My Future NC has a report due to JLOC establishing county goals. So taking that 400,000 or the 2 million goal at the state level and understanding how do we localize that for each of our 100 counties so that leadership knows what they are targeting to meet. So you may be saying, this sounds great, where do I go? So the big overall dashboard and all of these resources is available at dashboard.myfuturenc.org. The URL is on both of the pages that you have received. When you go there, those are going to track those educational progress indicators that we discussed. And this is really meant to serve as a common source of information about this big picture goal of 2 million 25 to 44-year-olds with a post-secondary degree or high quality credential. The attainment profiles are going to really facilitate decision-making on local priorities. And again, we do not see these as answering all of the questions. In fact, if they're doing their job right, they're going to identify where the questions need to be asked, rather than provide answers and solutions. So that's where we really see these, and we hope that you can come back to that with a generous spirit of let's improve these to really make something great that serves local needs when we release kind of all 100 in June. And then we have the state level overview, which again rolls up those 100 counties and contextualizes that same information local leaders are receiving at the state level. So here's how you can help. The way that we're getting feedback, some of this is using essentially behavioral analytics and what we can capture from how people are using the web to understand how we can improve that process, right? So we have behavioral analytics tracking, Google Analytics embedded in the dashboard. So if you get there and you're struggling to find the information that you need, we're going to see that in how people are navigating the site, right? And we're going to make evolutions to the site based on that. But what we really need for you to fill out is if you see something that strikes you as confusing or incomplete or an opportunity to expand more or learn more, fill out the feedback form and let us know, right? We want to know. We want to hear from you. We're also going to be having regional meetings with targeted stakeholders across the state. I think right now 8, right, Jenny? 8, 16, it's unclear. They're also evolving. So that schedule is also a living document. And you may hear from us directly to attend that, or somebody that you work with may hear from us and be invited. So we encourage you to participate in those conversations. And much like I am right in front of you today, we will also be appearing regularly at state level events to get this information out there, because the more feedback that we have, the more we can be confident that when we release all 100 in June, these profiles are really going to capture the key questions that people want answered for us to move forward. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Jamelia now.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here to represent the Belk Center for Community College Leadership and Research at NC State College of Ed. And it's been our privilege to really be one example of how we're putting this data to practice. So how we're trying to infuse this information, this wealth of information that's been provided for us, to turn it into some action steps. So our mission at the Belk Center is specifically to develop and sustain community college leaders who are committed to advancing college access, the social and economic mobility of their college's students, and the economic competitiveness of their regions. Sounds very familiar, right? This is why we're so aligned with My Future NC and the resources that UNC Demography has provided for us today. So this is something that we have used to inform the work that we are doing, and we do it in 3 ways. There are 3 components to how we try to be a part of this conversation to move forward our progress towards credential attainment. And one way is that we not only prepare the next generation of executive leaders, and that is through our doctoral program for community college leadership, and then also assisting community college presidents and trustees in getting to be, in providing opportunities for them to be familiar with the work that has been done and the data that's out there. In addition to that, we also do action-based research. So our leaders on our campuses are telling us, specifically community college campuses, are telling us, we think we have a best practice. We think that there's something happening here that we want to take a closer look at to see if the outcomes are actually measuring up. And that is the type of research that we are inspired by and that we are able to support and evaluate the practices that are happening on our campuses. So I want to call attention specifically to the work that we are doing with the presidents. And the reason why is because we believe that community college presidents build the culture of urgency that leads to reform. They are the ones who make the decisions on their campuses and really decide how to strategize and how to equip their campus to meet these goals. So through that, we've developed the President's Academy, which some of our presidents who have participated are here today, and they can vouch for us. And those 3 things that we focus on is really making sure that we can provide an opportunity for them to continue to talk about what is the data saying, how do we turn that into actionable practice on our campuses. We work alongside of our presidents to make sure that what we are providing is actually what they are asking for. So in terms of our planning committees, our curriculum committees for the President's Academy, we do engage with the President's Association, as well as partnering with some national leaders and national frontrunners, including the Aspen Institute and Achieving the Dream, who do this work on a national basis and have really seen that the promise of North Carolina and have invested in the Belk Center to make sure that we can provide specific and county level and service area level and statewide support to North Carolina. So I want to share a little bit with you what we've done so far in the President's Academy. So last May, we had a statewide leadership conference, and we shared with them we shared with presidents and trustees across North Carolina for community colleges that there are 3 specific populations that we are seeing are most underserved in North Carolina. This is informed by the very popular and very well talked about research reports that have been out there, including the leaky pipeline. And these 3 populations are the populations that have started to guide our curriculum focus as we've moved forward. As you can see, unemployed and underemployed adults is a population of focus. In September, we went ahead and we called back the community college presidents, and we provided more information about how to use data to inform practice. What does it look like to have informed decision making, and how do we enhance what you are already doing on your campuses? And to do so, we did labor market analysis to identify the supply and demand that existed in their service areas. We also pulled the STAR Jobs report to identify what are those most promising jobs that are in your service area. And how do you use this information to inform the decisions you're making, whether or not it's in building a strategic plan or it's in deciding on program alignment and things of that sort. So right now, we are in the midst of preparing for our March 2020 Symposium. And our March 2020 Symposium will encourage presidents to develop a problem or opportunity statement that addresses all of the information that we've provided and that we have had in North Carolina talking about. Our second one is that they're going to engage a campus team. So we know that the presidents are fully capable to lead their institutions in this mission. However, we know that they also have a team that we are willing to support and bring to the table to have those conversations about making this an actionable focus. And what they will do is to design college action plans that focus on these areas. There are three possible focus areas they can walk away with, and that is one, it can focus on college access and enrollment strategies, retention and completion strategies, as well as program alignment. So giving this additional focus and these opportunities to have deeper and richer conversations about specific areas in the pipeline that we know that we can begin to build strategies to enhance the progress of our students. I want to call attention to one of the groups that we will focus on, and they're called Partway Home. So those are the adults in the community who have earned some college degree, but have not yet, or some college experience or credits, but have not yet graduated. And looking at this population, we're hoping to provide our presidents with an opportunity to see what the North Carolina ranges are and those percentages are within Partway Home, but also what their college service area percentage is as well. So when you look at this and you see that 33% of my population have some college but no degree, what are those enrollment strategies we can implement to support these adults in our community? Our ultimate goal is that, much like Cecilia mentioned, we have 400,000 North Carolinians who would be left behind if we continue our status quo. Our goal is that we can cross that 4 out and have 0 left behind. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share a little bit about what we're doing to activate the data that we are seeing across North Carolina, and I'm happy to take any questions during our break.